Welcome back to the early morning show. Today's special guest is Mrs. Brito. So Mrs. Brito, how have you been?
I'm good. Things have been going well so far.
So, how was your summer? I hope it was still enjoyable given the circumstances.
I spent a lot of time indoors. I didn't do a whole lot. I did see my family here and there, but I mostly just spent it at home with my husband.
Oh, that's cute. So what's something that you picked up during quarantine?
So during quarantine, I didn't necessarily pick up something new. I think I just overly watched TV more than I would have normally. But since I have recently gotten married, I previously didn't really know how to cook much other than like basics. And so now I had to worry about not just feeding myself, but trying to make something for my husband as well. And so I actually appreciated having the time at home because I was able to pick up a couple of things and have more time to prepare it than having to worry about it when I got home from work. So I spent some of my time looking up recipes and figuring out new dishes for my husband, and he hasn't neglected any of them or said he didn't like any of them, so I guess I'm doing a good job. Yeah, so that's what I've been trying to improve. It's my cooking.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So you're pretty newly married, right?
Yes, 9 months.
Wow. So congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
So how's the married life been with your husband? How is that?
It's different living with another person, but we've been doing well so far, just accommodating to our own routines and how to compromise on the things that we do differently, and trying to find a new normal together.
I see.
Yeah.
So what, as a married woman, what's a piece of advice that is, helpful in relationships?
It sounds really weird to get that question because I'm so new at all of this that I'm still kind of receiving advice from other people. But one thing that comes to mind is growing up, I would always hear my grandmother say that do not let the sun go down being upset with your spouse. And so I feel like that always stuck with me. And so even if we have disagreements or arguments throughout the day, I never let the day end without us making up and being okay. Because I always think of my grandmother's advice in the back of my head. So if there's one thing I would just say is that regardless of what the disagreement was, don't let another day pass without setting it to rest.
I agree. That's a good advice. So you're a Spanish teacher here at Valley. What made you get into this career?
So I always say that the career chose me because I always initially wanted to be a teacher. But then my senior year in high school, I took psychology, and I was so drawn by just human behavior and ended up making that my major, actually. But as soon as I graduated with that major, I was called by a private school in Fullerton. They needed a sub for the Spanish teacher because she was going on maternity leave. So I stepped in as the 6-week sub, and 6 weeks has turned into 15 years. So I started there, and then I came to Valley 9 years ago. So I always say that teaching Spanish and being a teacher ended up choosing me. Even though I initially always wanted to do that, I always say I feel like I deviated the course and God brought me back to it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. I wouldn't know that you originally started off as like psychology. That's cool.
Yeah.
So if you didn't go into Spanish and if you could have any job, what would it be?
Ooh, if I could have any job?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I do enjoy what I do because if I didn't, I would be doing something else. It's not like the pay is great. However, if I could do something else, there are two passions that I do have. One of them being psychology. I love child psychology and being more of like the therapeutic form. But I also like to sing, so I don't know, some of you may know that I sing at chapel and I sing at my church, and I think that growing up that was always kind of like a dream of mine to be able to sing. But like I said, God always has his own course, so I think that I'm doing exactly what I meant.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on our show, Mrs. Brito Rodriguez.
Yes.
And I'll see you next time.